Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about this little beauty. It's the Hydration Vaccine by NIOD. Still haven't decided whether I'm going to say NIOD or NIOD, so I apologise for the constant changing between the two. I know it annoys some people, get really fixated on the way you say things. Anyway, stay tuned because there is a really interesting and I think exciting side effect to using this. But what I'm going to do is just try and very briefly read you what it says on what they say about the product, what the company says about the product. And I like to do that generally so that I can tell you whether I agree or not with any claims or with how it feels, etc. And then after that, I'll tell you what I think. So let's talk about what they say and what the price is. This is 50ml and it is £35. Oh, by the way, I was sent this. They sent me this and the copper amino isolate serum 1%. Cannot wait to use that. These are the only two products I've been sent by them, by the way. Everything else from Hylamide, The Ordinary, etc. I paid for myself. Okay, so it's £35 for this bottle, which is 50ml. You guys know I don't like this packaging. I think the packaging is terrible. It's very quirky looking. It looks like a medicine bottle or a pill bottle, but it's really impractical. I use it like this by shaking it and getting the product to the bottom so you can see like that. Yes, I could buy the spoon. I know they sell a very inexpensive spoon, but then where and how to keep the spoon so that it stays hygienic and it's just an extra thing to use. I just don't feel like that would work for me, to be honest. So I'm not a fan of the packaging. Anyway, this is 50ml and it's £35. That's about the normal price for most of the NIOD products. There are some super expensive ones. What I love about NIOD is they're not including unnecessary ingredients such as fragrance and alcohol. What they do seem to be doing is spending a lot of time and money on research and researching the most efficient way to, for example, moisturize your skin, the most efficient way to put anti-aging ingredients into your skin, to working with your own systems, as opposed to doing anything that's just covering up problems. And a lot of their ingredients are novel, which you might think goes against my ethos, because you'll have seen a lot of my videos, I talk about the research behind things, and I will always go with a product or an ingredient that is more researched than another one. So I would, if I could find personally a tretinoin cream or a retinoid cream, which in the UK is very difficult, I would probably use that over I would the retinoid ester, because although the retinoid ester is more mild and it's a very exciting new product, there's not enough research behind it. There are other products though, for example, the copper amino isolate serum, where there isn't anything else like that out there. And it's the same with this, you know, there's nothing out there that I know of that is anything like this. Anyway, you get my drift. Okay, so as always, let me read you the description and their claims, and then I'll tell you what I think of those and the ingredients, and then I'll tell you what I think. So the description is that this delivers instant and long-term results with natural moisturising factors, which we will abbreviate to NMF, to hydrate the skin. And you may remember that The Ordinary do a product called Natural Moisturising Factor. It's in a tube, and I have actually tried that and I didn't enjoy that. I found that to be very thick and very heavy feeling. I could feel like I had cream on my face, and not in a good way. To hydrate the skin, prevent moisture loss and seal moisture using the latest silicone technologies. So this does have silicone in it. A breathing adaptive hydration seal for the face that offers protection against degradation of natural moisturising factors, supplements the skin's own NMF and supports sustained production of NMF within the skin. Natural moisturising factor is largely composed of amino acids and minerals and is the skin's natural barrier against water loss. So in effect, protection from the loss of natural moisturising factor is the first line of defence against protection from the loss of hydration. This novel approach stands in sharp contrast to moisturisers that offer oils and lubricants as a method of hiding dehydration instead of supporting the skin's own barrier to water loss. So I love the thinking in that. It is working with your own skin and your own systems and your own natural way of having hydration in your skin, as opposed to, like they say, masking it with other products. The build-up of natural moisturising factors within the skin is shown to increase markers of youth within the skin so efficiently to the point that the skin can look up to 20 years younger after 4 weeks, purely by increased natural water content and no other factor. I think that's really interesting. And the funny thing is, I was just saying the other day how what I love about Deciem is there's no massive wild claims. Well, that is pretty much a wild claim. 20 years younger after 4 weeks. So if you are 70, your skin would look 50. If you are 40, your skin would look 20. I'm not sure I necessarily believe that. I haven't looked into the research behind that because, like I said, I'm a bit of a cynic, I suppose. So I'm not sure how much of that could be true. But then I also do believe in them as a brand. They are talking, like I've said before, they do talk a lot of sciencey stuff that I feel like could be put a little bit more in layman's terms. So that it was a bit more readable for most of us. But the things that I read and understand do make sense, and they know what they're talking about. So I don't know. That's really interesting to me though, and worth giving a go. We'll see if I look, so what am I now, 45? So let's see if in 4 weeks time I look like I'm 25 or my skin looks like it's 25. So the directions are that it sits on top of the copper amino isolate if you're using that, and the MMHC, the hyaluronic complex. You could use 1 or 2 drops of photography fluid mixed with this. That's interesting. I probably wouldn't do that because this has no SPF in, and so I use this as a night cream. I wouldn't use this in the morning. And then it says you can use it morning and night as part of your regime, and it can be used as a standalone product. So that's everything that they are claiming and that they describe as and how to use it. There's a lot of ingredients, but nothing of concern. Everything I'm reading, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's interesting. Oh, don't know what that is. Having a look up, and it's always something really good. There is squalane in this product. The thing that really interests me about it is, like I said, I've tried the natural moisturising factor by The Ordinary, and I didn't enjoy that in any way, shape or form. I used it up, but I didn't like squeeze every last bit out of it because I was like, I don't like the feeling of this. It just made my skin feel thick and greasy, and it was not nice at all. And I don't like the squalane. I didn't hate that as much, but there was no pleasure for me in using the squalane. And yet this is, you know, natural moisturising factor, and it has squalane in it, and yet I absolutely love this. I don't think I've told you that part yet. I love it. So what do I think about it? I've pretty much told you there that I love the ingredients. There's nothing wrong with the ingredients at all, and I love the product. The only thing I don't like is the packaging. But let me show you what it's like. You can see that it is quite a, ooh, just dropped some on my pajamas. Let's not waste it. Let's put that on my hand. It's quite a thick product is what I was going to say. It's not a very liquidy product, but it feels like silk going on your skin. Now, when you first put it on, it feels very much like the neck elasticity catalyst, I think. But it's more, now I don't want to say matte, it's more satin, because the neck elasticity I feel like is a little bit more Vaseline-y. It's a little bit more greasy. This is not greasy at all. It feels like silk, but then it kind of semi-absorbs and just feels like a baby's bum. But it doesn't completely absorb. It leaves a beautiful sort of plumpness to the skin. In fact, when I used it the first time, I kept touching my skin like this, and my husband was like, what are you doing? And I was like, my skin just feels like a baby's bum. I was like, it just feels absolutely lovely. It's a pleasure to use, and it just feels like, even now, I can't stop touching this hand because my hand just smooths over it. But when I do this, it's like it's sort of dragging across it, you know, and this, I don't know whether it looks any different. Sometimes you can see a difference on the hands when you put things on like this. Okay, so like I said, I have used this as a night cream. So I have been, let me think, what's my routine been at the moment? I take my makeup off with many different things, whatever I'm trying at the time. Then I always use a micellar water as a toner. I then sometimes use something like a Paula's Choice salicylic acid or something like that, the Pixie Glow Tonic, something like that. And I then use my neck elasticity catalyst on my neck and also on my eyelids, and the MMHC on my T-zone. Twice a week I use retinoid. This is a very quick updated skincare routine, well, differing, not retinoid. And then I have used this on top. I've only used it for 2 nights, so this is a first impression review, but I do want to tell you about that amazing side effect. So like I said, I'm sitting in the living room touching my face, and I don't know why, but I had the mirror out and I was looking at my face and I was like, oh, hold on a minute. where have my pores gone? And I had no makeup on at this time, remember. This is after doing the whole routine and this was the last step. And I was like, I can't see my pores in the mirror that I was holding, just a handheld mirror. So I said to Kev, pause the TV, I need to go to the bathroom. So off I ran to look into my magnifying mirror. I've got a, I think it's 20 times magnifying mirror on, stuck to the glass door of my shower to look at, you know, that it's good for plucking your brows and all sorts and looking at spots. And so I looked in there and I was like, you know what? They're barely visible and I have really large pores in this area. You guys will know that because you've seen me trying to use the niacin to work on them, the azelaic acid to work on them, and nothing really made any difference at all. And I was like, wow, okay, this is it, this is the product. So I decided that the following day I would take a picture in the morning, I would get up and do my skincare routine, take a picture before putting on any day cream, and I would use this on my face, and then I don't know whether I put SPF over the top or whatever, it doesn't really matter, but I would take a picture with this on this side only to see the difference between the pores, because sometimes you can see a more pronounced effect or a lesser effect. It's good to look at photos, although like I always say, you need to understand that photos can differ as well. Anyway, so the following morning I took a picture, none on this side, and I put some of this just in this area here. And it definitely works. I'll insert the photo for you now so that you can see what it looked like before and after this. But what I also noticed is on the side where I had nothing on, my pores are already smaller. And I attribute that to the vitamin C in silicone, the vitamin C 30% in silicone that I'm using by The Ordinary, because that's the only product I've recently switched up. There's a small caveat there that it could be the result of, it could be a delayed result of using niacin for months. But we're not really going to know that. But that aside, there was a very big difference in my eyes between the side with nothing on and the side with this on. So this is not only a great hydrator, it's also really good at filling in pores. And obviously they don't tell you that, but I suppose you could assume that because it's got silicone in it, but it's not mostly silicone, you know, that's not, although it is high up on the list, but there's not like a whole list of silicones, so it's not something I expected at all, but it definitely covers it. And I have used products that are almost all silicone and they still don't cover very well, you know. I've tried so many silicone based products, primers, foundations, concealers, ones that are specifically for pores, and they just, to me, don't look that different, not as good as this. So even if you don't want to use this as a moisturizer, but you have trouble with large pores, I would recommend giving this a try with the vitamin C 30% from The Ordinary and seeing if it makes a difference, because this is the first time I have seen my pores this small. So what else do you want to know about this? Scent. It's a bit industrial. I've heard people describing NIOD products as industrial. That does smell a little bit glue-like, but I'm really whiffing it, you know, really inhaling it. There is no scent when I put it on my face. I don't notice a scent at all, because I have to say, if that was really strong, that might bother me. It hasn't broken me out. I do have a breakout on my chin that I don't know whether it will be visible on screen, and I've got one tiny little spot on my head as well, but I know that is hormonal because I'm in the process of changing medication that I'm on for imbalances and whatnot, and the type of breakout I would get from a product is completely different to a hormonal breakout. So this has not made me break out, and also I haven't used this for quite a few days. It was last week I used this, and this has come up in the last few days. So definitely didn't make me break out. I think this would be good for any type of skin. That is the only way I haven't tested it for you guys, is using it during the day to see if it keeps my skin hydrated all day, but I don't have a problem with that as long as, you know, as long as I use one of my usual day lotions, including the Survival 30, my skin feels hydrated all day. So I don't think there'd be any way for me to really judge that. But certainly my skin felt amazing using it as a night cream, and it felt lovely in the morning as well. It still had that sort of plump, bouncy feel to it, you know, that is really lovely, and silky feel as well. So I feel like this is going to be a staple. I just really hope they change the packaging, or I can find, the problem is with it, it's such a particular size, I don't think I could find a pump bottle, a pump top. You know, if I could find a top, I might make that a mission. If I could find a top to put on this that I could use as a pump, any kind of pump, then that would be wonderful. But like I said, it's such a strange size that I don't think you're going to find a pump to sit on that, but I'll have a look and see what I can do. But I could see this being in my regime going forward. I'd love to know what you guys think about this product. I can't imagine anybody not liking it, so I'd be particularly interested if you don't. And it's not that I want to invite negative things to say about it. It's just that you guys know me as an honest reviewer, and I feel like with the NIOD products, I'm very gushy and not finding much negative to say, and that is just the way I feel. And even I sometimes look for things and I'm like, it can't be perfect, there must be something wrong with it, but I can't find anything wrong with it other than the packaging. So let me tell you what I've got on my face. I have got on the eyeshadow palette by Bare Minerals called The Vision. The foundation is Tarte Rainforest The Sea and Light Sand. Urban Decay blush, no, not Urban Decay. Nabla Cosmetics in Regal Mauve. Too Faced Child Star lipstick with Rimmel lip gloss on top in Per Glossy Cat. Earrings are from H&M. And this top, this ruffly old top, is from River Island. They do them in white, yellow and kind of multicoloured. I considered getting the yellow one. I'm not usually a fan of yellow, but it's a really beautiful sunshine yellow. I don't know how I'd look in yellow. I don't think I've ever worn yellow. Anyway, I don't know why I'm rambling on about that. One other thing, I like to mess around with stick-on tattoos. I do have 3 tattoos of my own, but this is not a new tattoo. It's just a stick-on. Somebody asked the same thing when I had it on my chest. But yeah, I just like playing around with stick-on tattoos. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will speak to you again soon.